Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Trucking Tower podcast. I'm very excited to be joined today by Wayne Cragg, who is part of Wayne Cragg Recruiting Services with Arter Express. How are you doing today, Wayne?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you very much. Having a great day today.
Excellent. First of all, I want to thank you for your military service in the Navy on the USS Carl Vinson CVN70. Thank you for that.
I appreciate that. I served from 1989 to 1993 during the first Persian Gulf War, not in theater. That's important to mention that our ship was the last one over there. And then we had headed back to the West Coast and he invaded Kuwait. So I never made it over there, but I served during that time.
Well, we certainly appreciate your service, no doubt. And I first saw you via social media a couple of years ago, and you and I connected on LinkedIn. You've had a lot of different videos about the trucking industry and your travels and a lot of fun social media. So it's been fun getting to know you. And I also want to thank our partner, All Truckers Together Against Child Abuse, for helping to raise awareness to protect America's children. So please feel free to message me to learn about a corporate partnership there. And you can check them out at attaca.org. So just to kick off our interview, Wayne, where were you? What happened? Who you're surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
That's a great question because a lot of people follow me. I worked almost all the time through 2020 during the coronavirus. I had worked 7 months and 2 weeks straight in the truck, not going home. And the last part I did a little bit, but that year took its toll on me. I've always been healthy. But once 2021 rolled around, I actually was at the VA hospital in Boise getting some other stuff checked out. My blood pressure was through the roof, cholesterol really bad, just everything coming down on me. And that year took its toll on me. And I decided I was going to try and bicycle across the United States from east to west against the prevailing winds. I got halfway. I did 1,300 miles. Sponsor didn't quite work out, and I did 1,300 instead, so I'm proud. I ran out somewhere in North Dakota.
Yeah, I saw some of that when you were doing that. That is really something else to do.
I would have made it if
miles on a bike. Whew.
If I was going from west to east, I figured out that I would have made it just with the prevailing winds, and most people do that. But that was a challenge of doing it, and if I hadn't run out of money, I was such a good shape. It certainly wasn't the winds anymore. I know a couple of people that alluded to, it was the winds that got me. No, you get used to them already. I was already plowing through 30 mile and 25 mile an hour wind for weeks on end. So it was just a shortfall of money.
Right. I understand. Well, you've got quite a following on social media, and you've posted a lot, and it's been fun following you and seeing what you've done over the last, couple of 2 or 3 years that I've been following you. What would you say are some of the top 2 or 3 challenges facing the trucking industry today?
I think, and we talk about this a lot, but the truck driver shortage that's happening, whether it be a qualified one, you can call it whatever you want. There has been a shortage. About a year and 2 months ago, I made a prediction, and you probably saw that in an empty CDL school right during the coronavirus and the lockdowns and stuff. And I was like, we really have got to pay attention to this. And I'm not saying anyone ignored me. I'm not saying that, but I kind of like, okay, this is going to be the perfect storm. And it has been. The other thing, comes down to what happened with me was the mental health and the physical health. There is a toll being paid now it's harder now during the pandemic and hopefully coming out of it pretty soon. But the mental health and the physical health of the drivers, I think we just need to start pounding on that. I never thought I was going to get so out of shape. I've been to Alaska 5 times. I've hiked the West Coast, but when you're working as much as you did, the physical part of it really did get to me. The mental, not so much, but it is affecting. The third one's a little different because autonomous trucks. Now, 3 or 4 years ago, I was doing a ton of videos, and I always thought autonomous trucks would kind of fill a niche. I never said it was going to take away all the drivers' jobs. I think it's going to fill this niche, a pretty nice niche as well. And the drivers that aren't safe and other things will kind of fade away. But there's some talk lately that they're advanced and they're getting there, but they're starting to really say, well, we may be having drivers in that seat for some time to come. So I think that's going to be an interesting thing to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an interesting thing to watch for sure. On the flip side of that, what are some of your top 2 or 3 success secrets that others can model from based on your experiences?
Well, the first thing is now that I'm recruiting with Ardor Express, that's not a shameful plug. I am. Everyone knows that. It's really important for drivers out there to pick the right company for them, especially now. With the shortage of drivers, everyone is really promising the world, and who are the ones that are going to come through for you? It's just big right now. You really, I think, as much as it is for the recruiter, for me, that not lying, just saying this is what we can do. It's up to the driver, and really doing their due diligence beside the recruiter and looking at reviews to say, can they give me what I want and what I need? I think that's the first thing. Second one is on time, on time, on time. I had a 98.9% on time in 9 years. I did the 48 in Canada. It was trip planning. This goes to the second one, on time, on time, on time. And then the third one would be trip plan, trip plan, trip plan. They go hand in hand. I went around storms. I was given the ability when I was lease purchased to go around these storms, wait it out, still try to stay on time and work all that, and thinking, you know, I need to be not only on time, I need to be safe. I've never been in a wreck, so I was, but it's so important to be on time, especially early in your career, and even late, but so really early in your career, is to trip plan around the problems.
Right. Absolutely. Plan ahead, get there as close to on time as you possibly can. That's absolutely important. What kind of news or upcoming events would you like to share with the audience?
I think the big news is going to happen. I don't know if you remember years ago, there was a nurse shortage years ago, showing my age. I think we're going to come to a point where we are so short on truck drivers that it's going to start to affect the growth of our economy. And then right now we're hanging on. We are hanging on. But when things come out of, you know, when the coronavirus is finally gone, are we going to be able to grow with the amount of drivers that we have right now? I think this is something, it's just another opinion of mine. We'll see. I like throwing these opinions out there, but I think there's going to be a real push to figure out what in the world are we going to do to attract new drivers in here. They've talked about letting 18-year-olds come in. I think that's a Band-Aid. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm on the record saying I think they can join the military. Why couldn't they drive a truck? But we're still putting them into a pretty dysfunctional system with all the turnover. And keeping them in there for the year is the most important thing. And then when we have the drivers coming in from the school, that got cut off. So this full supply of drivers coming in have stopped. And now we're really dealing with issues we haven't talked about for years, is how can we make trucking, you know, good again? How can we make it fun? How can we have people that are young want to come in?
Absolutely. I've been seeing a lot of that. Several of the things you've touched on: health, wellness, getting younger drivers. Those are really hot topics right now.
They are
as well.
Yeah, and I think one of a hot button issue with the younger drivers, though, is you know, when you want an 18 or 19-year-old, they're already doing it within certain states. They just can't go across the country. And I think if you get the right ones and they're mature enough, they could do it. And you're going to throw that mature person into, and I keep saying this, it's not a slam on the industry. I've been in there 9 years, and I'm going to be 10 coming up, even as a recruiter. But we have to fix the dysfunctional part of it to make these young people feel welcome and want to stay. Right now, they don't want to stay.
Understood. Absolutely. You know, what are the best ways for people to connect with you or your organization, you and your organization?
Two places are the best. I'm up to 9 social media pages now that I oversee, but really, I'm really been targeting 2 right now. And that's the Wayne Cragg Recruiting Services / Ardor Express on Facebook. And that's just been taken off. And I have a Trucker Wayne Cragg page, but with me recruiting, I really kind of wanted to filter them over to the recruiting side. It hasn't been as successful, but it's still there. And then on LinkedIn, I'm up to almost, I think it's 1,400 people that follow me. And I think it's like 182 CEOs that follow my journey on LinkedIn in a very professional manner. Every page has its own little nuance of what's going on. But I've been on LinkedIn for 1.5 years, and I know you may have been following me on some of the other pages that I have as well, but I've been hitting LinkedIn pretty hard for a good 1.5 years now.
Absolutely. I use LinkedIn to connect with hundreds and actually of thousands of people. And we have some automation we use to message hundreds of people every week. And it's LinkedIn's been great for me. It's been a really good platform for us. So what would you say as a final word of advice for others to be successful within the trucking industry?
don't let the stress of the industry get the best of you. Early on, the biggest thing is that we lose some of the people that we really want to stay in this industry, because it's hard for someone. I've got 300-400 videos just on YouTube alone when I worked with Driver Solutions of how you can become a better truck driver. What happens is that first year, if you make it past the first year, they say that the chances of you staying in the industry just soar. So we're losing so many people in that first year. And I would say, don't let the stress get to you. And I don't know, I'm not a one-year driver anymore, but I can kind of imagine with how tight capacity is right now, that the challenges first-year drivers are going through, 2-year drivers and 3-year drivers. Don't let it get to you. Know that there's a way out. There's a light to the end of the tunnel. When you get more years, you can go lease. You can go, we here at Arter, we have call it a profit lease, a little bit different, and maybe own her out. And you got to think about it, but there is light. You got to get those years in it. This is no different. I'll end it this way. Your career in trucking is no different than someone who's in college. The first year in college, you don't get your bachelor's. You just don't. You work hard. Second year harder. Third year harder. And then maybe the fourth year starts to, come out a little bit, but you finally get your bachelor's degree. And that's exactly like trucking. You're not going to get your degree in the first year or two.
Right. Absolutely. You've got to stay in there. Just like any career, you work your way up to where you want to be. I mean, I think it's
true. Yes, and there's unique challenges that trucking has that other, you could go into the skilled trades and you're going to be home every night. That's another thing I'm finding out is how important home time is. So, there's just things where you just got to know the first year or two, point blank, going to be extremely hard, and there's no way around it.
Right. Absolutely. Well, Wayne, it's been fun following you, seeing your posts about the industry and what you've been up to as well on a personal basis. So I really do appreciate you coming on with me today.
I can't thank you enough for having me on here. The last couple weeks since I've done the failed, it was a fail, but I still did 1,300. So this is a big change for me. I hope that the drivers out there know that I'm giving them the straight like I had for 9 years. And, I'm done with the opinion pieces, but with what we're doing now is just, I'm trying to, show truckers that there is a recruiter out there that can give you this straight up and be honest with you and tell you we can't do it if we can do it.
Right. Absolutely. And you've been there, done that. So,
Yes.
you know what it's like, and you know the ins and outs. So appreciate you coming on with me. I know driver recruiting is a super hot topic. And so I really appreciate you coming on with me. And that's going to do it for this segment of the Trucking Tower podcast. We'll see you guys soon. Take care, everybody.